Right, let me break this down for you in detail, because this whole idea of trading Draymond Green for Domantas Sabonis has been making waves, and there's a lot to unpack here. So imagine you're the Golden State Warriors. Would you prefer to have Draymond Green, a defensive stalwart and one of the best defenders in the league, or would you rather take on Sabonis, a younger big man who has led the league in rebounds for 3 consecutive years and offers a very different skill? Set? It's not an easy choice on the surface, and it gets even more complicated when you factor in contracts, salary caps, and team chemistry. First, let's consider the relationship between the Warriors and the Kings. Historically, these teams haven't made a lot of trades with each other. In fact, if you look back, the Warriors and Kings have only made a handful of deals in recent decades, with the most notable being the trade involving Jimmy Butler, which indirectly connected these franchises. But trades like that are rare, especially in the modern NBA, where salary cap rules and roster management make moving key players a complex puzzle. Draymond Green is an elite defender, having been named to the all-defensive first team this past season, ranking among the top 3 defensive players in the entire league. He brings leadership, versatility, and a certain toughness that defines the Warriors' identity on defense. Although his offensive numbers might not jump off the page, he's known more for his playmaking and defense than scoring. His value in a system that relies on ball movement and spacing is undeniable. Now, look at Sabonis. At 29 years old, he's younger than Green and arguably in the prime of his career. He's been a dominant force on the boards, leading the league in rebounding for 3 straight seasons, something the Warriors desperately need to improve. Sabonis is not just a rebounder though. His passing ability is elite for a big man, second only to Nikola Jokic in the entire NBA. This kind of playmaking from the front court could open up the offense in new ways, especially for shooters like Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler. Adding to that, Sabonis has a respectable 3-point shot, hitting over 40% this season, which means he can stretch the floor and create spacing. The question then becomes, could the Warriors make this trade happen financially? That's where things get tricky. Sabonis is owed roughly $43 million over the next 3 seasons, which is a substantial contract. Draymond, by comparison, is owed around $25 million per season in the same time frame. So there's a significant gap between what these 2 contracts look like. The NBA's salary cap rules are strict about how trades need to match salaries within a certain range, unless teams are under the cap or have special exceptions. Using the trade machine, a tool that helps visualize and test whether trades meet the NBA's salary cap and roster rules, it becomes clear that a straight-up swap of Draymond Green for Domantas Sabonis simply won't work. The Warriors would end up with only 9 guaranteed contracts after the trade, falling short of the minimum number of players required on the roster. Additionally, the salary disparity between Green's contract and Sabonis' contract is too wide to clear under the cap rules, which means the trade would fail from a technical standpoint. So how can a trade like this even be made possible? One approach is adding more players or draft picks to balance the salaries and roster spots. For example, if the Warriors threw in a young player like Brandon, who is seen as a promising talent, or included a shooter like Moody, plus a future first-round draft pick in 2029, the trade could start to work on paper. The Kings would get a package of young talent and draft assets, which fits their rebuilding timeline, while the Warriors would get the established Sabonis to bolster their front court. However, even with those additions, the trade still might not clear. When we try pushing the draft pick from 2029 back to 2028, suddenly the numbers line up and the trade becomes feasible under the salary cap rules. That's because moving the pick earlier reduces the amount of future assets the Warriors are sending out, making the trade more palatable and compliant with the league's regulations. It's important to realize how these kinds of trades are not just about player talent or fit on the court, but also heavily influenced by contract, salary caps, and timing. Teams need to manage all these variables carefully, especially when dealing with star players on large contracts. You can't just say, swap player A for player B without considering these financial realities. This analysis isn't to say that the Warriors should or will make this trade, but rather to understand the mechanics behind such moves. The Warriors losing a defensive anchor like Draymond Green would be a huge blow to their identity and defensive scheme, but gaining a Younger, more offensive-oriented big man in Sabonis could open up new possibilities. Still, the Kings would have to be on board with this, and given Sabonis' value to their team, it's unlikely they'd let him go without significant compensation. We can also look at other trade possibilities involving different teams and players like Derek White from the Celtics or Kobe White from the Bulls to see how these deals would stack up financially and roster-wise. For example, Derek White's contract is around $28 million for 4 years, close to Green's salary, which makes a trade between the Warriors and Celtics a bit more feasible financially. But then you have to consider the Celtics roster needs, the value of players like Jason Tatum, and whether they'd be willing to give up a promising guard for a veteran big man. Similarly, with the Bulls and Kobe White, the salaries don't match up cleanly, and the Bulls would likely want more young players or draft picks in return. Sometimes, adding smaller contracts or draft picks can help balance the trade and clear salary cap hurdles, but it gets complicated fast. The NBA's collective bargaining agreement and salary rules make these moves very precise, and general fans often don't see the layers of complexity involved. At the end of the day, these hypothetical trade scenarios help us understand the kind of juggling teams have to do behind the scenes. Fancy rumors and quick trade this for that takes all the time, but the reality is that trades have to fit financially, meet roster requirements, and align with team strategies. It's a balancing act of talent, money, and future planning. So, would you make this trade if you were running the Warriors? Would you give up Draymond Green for Sabonis plus some young players and picks? Or do you think the defensive presence and leadership Draymond provides outweigh the benefits Sabonis might bring? Let me know what you think about this complicated puzzle. It's not just about the names, it's about the fit, the money, and what each team wants to build for the future. Continuing from where we left off, it's crucial to dig deeper into how these trades could unfold with other teams and players, examining not only the salary numbers, but also the strategic moves each franchise might consider. Let's take a look at Derek White from the Celtics. His contract stands at around $28 million over the next 4 years, which aligns fairly closely with Draymond Green's $25 million per year. This salary compatibility means a direct swap could theoretically work under the NBA's trade rules. However, the Celtics roster situation adds layers of complexity. With Jason Tatum likely to miss significant time or possibly move on, the Celtics will be desperate to hold on to guard depth. Derek White plays an important role as a versatile guard who can defend, shoot threes, and ease some pressure off the primary scorers. This makes it less likely they would want to part ways with him easily, even if it means acquiring a defensive big like Draymond. Moreover, if the Celtics wanted more youth or different positional players in return, the Warriors might need to include other young assets or draft picks. Adding players like Moody or draft picks to the deal can help balance things out, but again, risk complicating the trade's feasibility. For instance, including Moody might push the Celtics over certain salary or roster limits, or the Warriors might have to throw in second-round picks to make it work financially. These nuances show how even trades that look simple on paper become complex negotiations once all factors are weighed. On the Bulls side, trading Kobe White for Draymond Green presents a similar set of challenges. Kobe White's contract is much smaller, just over $12 million for 1 year, which is not enough to match Green's $25 million contract in a direct swap. For the Bulls to make this work, they would likely require additional assets such as young players, draft picks, or expiring contracts to balance the salary and meet roster rules. Maybe they'd also look to shed salaries or add players that better fit their rebuild plans. The Bulls could also be looking to receive draft picks to build for the future. The Warriors, on their end, might want to acquire promising young talent or draft capital as they try to stay competitive while managing salary cap pressures. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. There's a growing buzz in the NBA circles that Trayce Jackson-Davis, the promising forward who has been making waves with the Golden State Warriors, might be on the move soon. Rumors are swirling that the Houston Rockets could be eyeing Jackson-Davis as a key piece for their rebuilding project, sparking plenty of speculation about what this potential transfer could mean for both teams and the player himself. Jackson-Davis has shown remarkable growth during his stint with the Warriors quickly. establishing himself as a versatile player capable of impacting the game on both ends of the floor. His combination of size, agility, and shooting ability has made him an intriguing asset, especially for teams looking to inject youth and energy into their roster. The Warriors, known for their championship pedigree and deep squad, might see this as an opportunity to reshape their lineup, while the Rockets, who have been rebuilding and looking to add young talent, seem like a natural fit for Jackson Davis to thrive and develop further. Houston has been actively seeking players who can contribute immediately but also have the potential to grow into cornerstone roles. Jackson Davis fits that mold perfectly, and sources suggest that the Rockets front office has been closely monitoring his progress. Although nothing has been officially confirmed, insiders hint that talks between the two franchises could be underway, with a trade possibly on the horizon. This speculation has excited Rockets fans, who are eager to see fresh talent join their ranks and help accelerate the team's journey back to playoff contention. From Golden State's perspective, trading Jackson Davis could be a strategic move to bolster other areas of the team or to create more salary cap flexibility. The Warriors have a wealth of talent, and while Jackson Davis has potential, the organization may be looking to capitalize on his rising value to address immediate needs. Meanwhile, Jackson Davis himself might welcome a change of scenery where he could have a larger role and more minutes to showcase his skills on a consistent basis. The NBA offseason is often full of surprises, and the possibility of Trace Jackson Davis heading to Houston adds another layer of intrigue to the league's evolving landscape. If this rumor turns into a reality, it could mark a significant chapter in Jackson Davis's career and a pivotal moment for the Rockets as they build toward a brighter future. Fans and analysts alike will be watching closely, eager to see how this potential move unfolds and what impact it could have when the new season tips off. For now, the whispers continue, leaving everyone wondering, could Trace Jackson Davis be the next big name to join the Houston Rockets? Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.